Check, check, check. Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, dreamers? Welcome to PuddingChats episode 10, live podcast where I answer and talk about questions that you send in. If you want to contribute your own questions to the show, check out the description box below. Or if you're just listening in, check out my website at puddingforever.com. That's PUDDING, the number 4, EVER.com. Before we get started, let's just do a quick little audio check just to make sure everything is all good. And while I wait for the delayed response that is inevitable, just go over some quick live chat rules for those of you that are here live. First of all, thank you for being here live. I super appreciate you. And but for those of you that are new here, please don't spam or troll. Don't make my mods have to ban you. Otherwise, you won't be able to have any more fun with us. So definitely keep things nice and good, and we'll have a great time. But today is a special little episode. It's a Valentine's Day special. Today is Sunday the 12th of February. Obviously, Valentine's Day is February 14th on Tuesday. So I figured we'd do a nice little topic. And actually, this topic for this specific podcast came from somebody who asked me a question on Tumblr. And this question was, what was one of my worst dates that I've ever had? And so I answered that question, of course, but I figured it would be an interesting topic to talk about and or get some of your feedback to see what kind of horrible dates that you guys have had as well. I sent out a little thing on Twitter and Facebook just asking you guys to let me know some of your stories so that I can go ahead and pick a few and read them off for this podcast. So once we get everyone else settled in, we'll go ahead and get started. Man, I actually read a few of them that I had gotten in from some of you guys, and oh my gosh, just wow. Absolutely wow. So, yeah, today should be very, 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 very interesting for sure. It's Monday for you in Denmark. Oh, geez. Hi to all of you that are outside of the U.S. I know it's probably super late or early for you guys, which is unfortunate. There's no way to kind of have like a perfect time to get to everybody, but we try. But yeah, also just again before we get started, please check the description box below for links to all my stuff, my website, as I just said, my social media, Tumblr, everything is down in the description box below if you want to check that out. I'm actually going to be taking some questions from my WhatsApp. For those of you that don't follow me on social media, which you should be if you want to keep up, I announced that I'm opening up a WhatsApp, and basically that's just to kind of lessen the barrier between you and I, and just to give you somebody to say hey, what's up to every now and again. So if you guys want to add me on WhatsApp, check out my Instagram or any of my other social media. I should have it pinned. Instagram's probably the easiest one because it's just a photo of it. And then, just send me a message with your name. That way I can add you to my contacts. And then, I can more easily get you guys updates directly to your phone, as well as just, have conversations, say what's up, and all of that other fun stuff. 7 p.m. there in Cali for you. Oh, geez. Nice and early. Yeah, it's about 10 p.m. for me here in Orlando, Florida. So, let's get into this topic. And I'll start off with one of my stories for worst date ever. Again, if you follow me on Tumblr, you've probably seen this already, or at least my answer to this. But for those of you that don't, I'll go ahead and share this little story. So, it all starts out, I was in the military, and I was on my way to being deployed. I forget where it was. I think I was either going to Korea or somewhere else, somewhere random. And there was this girl that I was talking to for about a month or two. We had become friends and stuff like that, and we were always kind of flirting and stuff like that, and just going on little dates here and there, and just having a good time. And so one thing led to another, and we decided that, hey, I know that I'm leaving and all that, but we've been talking for a while, and we definitely like each other. We're interested in each other, so why don't we go ahead and just kind of like make this official? Like, you're my girlfriend, I'm your boyfriend, we're dating, like, let's just make it like we're a thing now. So we went ahead and did that, and so the story starts literally the day after we kind of made that official. Um, she had invited me to go out to like one of the local bars and just to have like a normal day, go out, have some drinks, and enjoy the night. But we were out with her friends as well. She wanted to kind of have like a little date thing to kind of just hang out with everyone and get to know some of her friends and stuff like that. Now that we were dating, so we went ahead and went out, and everything was good, and we had a couple drinks, and the night was going good. We were listening to good bar music, whatever they were playing at the time. We were having conversations with our friends and stuff like that, and things were good. But there was a point where I had started getting some text messages from some of my friends. There was a female friend of mine who had texted me. She was simply asking, hey, what's going on tonight? Is there anything going on? Is there any, house parties? Because we used to throw house parties back in the day. Is there any? She was just asking me, is there anything going on tonight? Like, me and my friends are trying to go out and do stuff. So she was asking me to see if I knew anything. So I texted her back. I was like, hey, I'm not really sure what's going on tonight. I'm actually out with my girlfriend at the time. And so, I'm currently occupied. So, like, yeah, I don't know. The place that we're at isn't really, there's nothing crazy going on here. But, so we're out. And so, I just let her know, like, hey, I'm busy. I don't know anything that's going on, and just answered her question, right? But the girl that I was, I had just gotten in, just started dating at the time, she kind of leaned over. She was like, hey, who are you talking to? And I'm like, oh, just one of my friends. She was just asking what was going on that night, et cetera, et cetera. And I actually showed her, I took my phone and showed her the text, like, hey, no, here, check it out. She was just asking me what was going on that night. And so I don't know what happened, what made something switch for her. But all of a sudden, she just started, like, tearing up and crying. And I'm like, are you okay? What's wrong? What's going on? And she just started just bawling her eyes out, sobbing, and I was just like trying to console her, like, what's going on? I don't understand. What happened? Like, did somebody like say something to you, or like what's going on here? And so she started saying stuff like, oh my God, like, you're already talking to like other girls, and like you have so many, like, all these different like chicks trying to hit you up and stuff, and like you're like talking back to them, like you're like already cheating on me. And I'm like dumbfounded at this point. I'm just sitting at the bar like, huh? And so she just started bawling her eyes out. She like ran to the bathroom, and her friends, obviously, that were standing next to her, saw her crying, and they were like, what the fuck happened? What's going on? What the fuck? And I was just like, I'm wondering the exact same thing. She just started crying out of nowhere. And so one of her friends went to the bathroom with her to kind of console her and find out what's going on. And her other friend, I stood there with her, like, trying to explain, like, I have no idea what happened. I literally, like, was texting a friend and showed her this and that, and like she just started crying out of nowhere. And her friend's like, that's strange. I don't know why she would just start crying like that. I don't know what's going on. So her friends started like getting mad at me and stuff. So I was just like, and this all happened in the matter of like minutes. It's one thing after another, and I'm just like, I actually like went outside. I left the bar and stood outside because I was like, I need to get some air, because like, what the fuck is even happening right now? I have no idea what's going on. So I guess she ended up calming down, and as soon as she like came out of the bathroom, the girl that I was dating, she came out the bathroom. I was like, hey, let's just go. Let's get out of here. And so like we left, and lo and behold, obviously, that night I ended up breaking things off, because I was just like, I'm about to deploy, and literally it's day one, and you already think that I'm like cheating on you or something. And like I literally was like doing nothing but just talking to a friend, right? just answering their question. I showed her the text, like straight up, like this is all I said. And like, uh, and I shouldn't have to explain myself. I shouldn't have to have showed her the text message, but I did just out of niceness, just to show her, like, hey, just to let you know, like, this is what happened. And yeah, I was just like, I'm about to leave right now, and on day one, you're acting like this. There's no way that I'm going to be dealing with this while I'm deployed. It's not going to happen. And so I broke up with her that night. That was, man, that was an interesting night. And when I answered this question on Tumblr, I mentioned a few other instances where, there were certain times when I was in a relationship where, I kind of put a lot of effort into a date and tried to make it super special. And, again, to add to the kind of list of like bad dates was that, like, it sucks whenever you try to put, make a date special, or you try to do something very special for your partner, and they don't either appreciate what you did for them, or they don't even notice that you did anything for them, right? Like, that's like the worst thing ever. You set all this stuff up, you kind of do this special thing, you're act very sweet and very genuine and very, like, you just try to make it as sappy and lovey-dovey as possible, and like the partner doesn't even like react to it, and it's just like, well, fuck. Like, that's just the worst. And that's happened to me on a couple of occasions where it's just like, I tried to go all out and just make it, super special, and either it's ruined because they don't care, or they're just in a bad mood or whatever, for whatever reason, like that's just so horrible. So that was one of my worst dates that I've been on. Very, very cringeworthy. So, like I said before, I asked everyone on social media to send me in their stories of what kind of bad dates that they've been on. So I'm going to go ahead and read through a couple from a bunch of various different sites. So we're going to start off on Twitter. And I'm going to go into my message box. And some of the longer ones I might try to cut down, or I might just skip them over just for time's sake. But let's see. I don't know if I should name names. I probably won't name any names, but we have one from a female who says, so here's my worst date story. I had this female friend in high school who lived on my street, and she had started dating a guy from another school. He had asked her if she had any available friends because he wanted to plan a double date with his best friend, who was also single, so she asked me. I figured, why not? Because at the time I was extremely awkward and didn't date much. I had never met the guy before, so this was a blind date, and that should have been my first clue that it was a mistake. So we meet the guys at a restaurant. I don't remember where we went because it was so long, and I could immediately tell that this guy isn't my type. He was really shy, so I mainly tried to talk with my friend and her boyfriend to keep things from being completely silent. We went to laser tag after that, and that was fun because they decided to do guys versus girl teams. At the end of the night, the guy who I had barely interacted with over the whole night actually asked me for my number, and I said no. My friend took me home shortly after and apologized for the evening. I feel bad, but blind dates are awful more often than not, and that is the only bad date I've been on, thankfully. Yeah, that's always an interesting situation, going on a blind date, because it's like you're kind of, especially if it's a blind date that one of your friends set you up on, because you're trusting that they know your judgment, or that their judgment is kind of on the same level of yours as like what kind of guys that you'd be into. And so, there's a 50% chance that your friend actually knows you and knows what kind of people that you're into, or they have no idea and they just set you up with somebody that's just like totally not your type at all. It's just like, wow. But yeah, that's a tricky situation being in. Let's see. Let's take another one from. We have one here, again from Twitter. She says, I got stood up in the dead of winter for 5 hours. Are you serious? 5 freaking hours? And I wish you would have let me know, like, kind of the continuation of that. Did they end up coming after 5 hours, or did you just end up leaving, going back home? I'm really curious what happened after that. We have another one here on Twitter who says, so I had someone ask me on a date a few years back. It was all good, and we had great conversations. We seemed to hit it off. It was finally getting comfortable enough, or he was finally getting comfortable enough with me to ask for a date. So he picks me up a few days later and does the whole gentlemanly thing. We go to a nice place to eat and talk and eat. It's all great until the check comes. So I assume he's paying. As a young girl, I assumed he would. I was broke and did not have a job at 18. He says as they hand him the check, "Oh, waitress, can we have this check separate?" I say, "What do you mean? I was assuming you're paying since you asked me out." He says, "Well, one thing you'll learn about me is on dates, we always split the check." Okay, I get me paying after the first date. I get splitting the check after the first date, but am I wrong to think he should have paid for the first date at least? Yeah, that's an interesting predicament to be in. I like to think that if someone asks you to come out, and asks you to go on a date with them, that they're paying. That's just kind of like just like an automatic thing. I'm asking you to come out with me. I'm gonna pay for you, right? Whereas if it was something like, "Hey, let's go do this thing," and it's like a mutual kind of like, "Oh, we should go to the movies, we should go out for dinner or something like that, or go get lunch or something." That's kind of like that's the time where you would split checks. That's the time where you would like, kind of do it 50-50 because again, you're both mutually wanting to go do the same thing rather than having the one person ask you to come out with them. So wow, yeah. No, I don't think you're wrong in thinking that he should have paid for the first date in that situation. Again, because he did ask you out to go out with him. Or at the very least, before the date starts, be like, "Hey, I'm planning on splitting the check, or I'm a little tight on cash, so if it would be great if we could split the bill at the end of the night." And say that beforehand. Let that be known beforehand. That way, each party has a chance to save up some money or scrape up whatever that they have to be able to pay for dinner. That's just etiquette, common decency. Wow. All right, so that's it from Twitter. We'll grab some from Facebook now. Let's see. We have one here that says, "This happened years ago. Firstly, I have to say, he was the sweetest guy. He was just a bit weird. I met him at the gym. I thought he was handsome. He seemed balanced and fun. Anyway, we went to a pub and had drinks. He seemed a bit sweaty, but I thought it was cute that he'd get that worked up over going on a date with me. He knew I liked rock and metal, and he knew I loved Bon Jovi. He went to the toilet and came back in different clothes and had a long blonde wig on his head. He sat down and took my hand and he started to sing Bed of Roses to me. He then stood up and hit his head on the big light that was above our table, and his false tooth fell out and landed in my drink. Everyone stopped and looked because of the singing and the loud noise where he hit his head. The date ended pretty quick after that. Bless him, he was cute, but he wasn't for me. I can't help but giggle even though I know I shouldn't." Oh my god. Oh no. Oh no, why? Oh my goodness. That's so bad. But like, not bad on him. It's just like a horrible situation to be in, because it's like, again, his idea of what he was trying to do, get in costume and do that whole thing was like super cute, super awesome, super amazing. But the execution, oh no, the execution or failure of execution was what killed that for sure. If it was executed without him getting hurt and losing his tooth, that would have been great, right? Like, that would have been freaking awesome. And it would have been something worth of a positive memory, right? But wow, that's so bad. Oh no, that's so cringy. And then we have another one on Facebook here. It said, "One of my worst dates was with this really nervous guy who asked me for framed nudes of myself. He had also applied for a position at my grandma's work, and she then turned him down. Needless to say, I never texted him back." What the fuck? What the hell? He asks you for framed nudes of yourself. Like, not just like a picture or something like, through text message. Framed nudes that he can hang up on his wall or something. What? Who does that? Who does this? What the hell? Oh my god, that's ridiculous. That's so ridiculous. Let's see. Here's from my Facebook wall. Um, we got one from here that says, I got one for you. First date with a guy I had been talking to for a while. We finally met at a restaurant, and holy cow, his beau was so bad I had to leave. Oh, his BO was so bad I had to leave. He had a 6-foot stink cloud around him. Needless to say, I was ill, embarrassed, and pissed. Oh no. No, 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 no. If you ever go on a date, if you ever just go out in general, put on deodorant. Some type of deodorant, some type of cologne, perfume, whatever. Oh no. And it was probably a case where he probably did have some type of like deodorant or something, or he just, because there's some people that like either can't smell, have like an issue with their nose where they can't smell that well, or they just don't realize how they themselves smell. You know, like they have this like body odor that just emits from them, that they're either so used to that uh, they can't smell it themselves, or you know, either they have like a specific diet or something, or some type of like internal disease that causes them to have like a smell. Like these are actual things that happen. Like your scent can change depending on your diet. You know, like if you eat a certain amount of something, it can affect how you smell. You know, what like the sweat that comes out of your pores, like it just has like a different stench to it. Wow. Wow. That's, yeah, nothing is worse than like having like a weird, like not so good smell on someone. Um, Sometimes it can be overlooked, you know, depending on the smell. Like if it was like on accident or something like that or whatever. But like if it's like a horrible, like, dude, you haven't showered in like 3-4 days, that's inexcusable. Let's see, we got one from Tori. She says, he was 30 minutes late, asked me to follow him to his car, and he opened his trunk to pull out flowers that were half dead, and my car got sideswiped. What the hell? What? That's so random. Let's see. I have one here that says, I would provide a story, but I've never actually been on a date. Looking forward to this, though. Aw. Well, you gotta get out there. You gotta go meet people, and if anything, if you don't want to wait to get asked on a date, ask someone on a date. A lot of people kind of overthink dates, I think. In my opinion, I think that dates don't have to be so serious, you know? Like, it's just a date. It's just a chance to hang out with somebody, spend some time with someone, and just enjoy an evening or lunch or whatever the date may be. You know, like it doesn't have to be so like crazy serious. Like go out on dates with your friends, go out on dates with your family members. Like it doesn't have to be that crazy. It doesn't have to be that like, oh, you know, I'm scared of going on a date. I'm scared of asking somebody. Like just be like, hey, let's go out and do something. You know, that's would be considered a date. Let's see. We have one here that says going on a date just to find a no-show. Oh yeah, that's so unfortunate. I don't know if I've ever had that happen to me, either because it's never happened to me or I blocked that out of my memory. I don't think I've ever had anyone not show up for a date. Maybe like cancel, but never like not show without saying something. You know, like that's horrible. Looks like that's it from Facebook. And Twitter. We'll go to Tumblr because we have one on Tumblr, and then we'll go to WhatsApp. So this one on Tumblr says, my worst date was when he brought along his friend so we could double date, only to find out that his friend was in fact his ex-girlfriend, as in his girlfriend before me, and he double dated purely to check out who she had left him for. What a dick. And to make matters worse, he seemed pretty chill with it, telling me how good a kisser he was and what he liked in bed. Wow. That's super awkward. Super awkward and cringy. Like, he double dates his ex-girlfriend just to see who she's with. And then, not only that, but to have the ex-girlfriend talk to you and tell you what he likes. What? I mean, I would say that's half bad, because like I could understand if he was still friends with his ex, and they had like a good relationship. They just didn't work out as boyfriend girlfriend or whatever. So they maintained that friendship afterwards, and so they're like, hey, let's just do a double date. But what made it bad was to find out that he was just doing it just to find out who she was dating. Like, that's fucked up, right? But if it was just the fact that they were just friends or whatever, and they just wanted somebody to double date, then that's not so bad. And it's kind of nice that she respected you and was like, hey, here's some tips, here's some things that you could do that you don't have to waste time trying to figure out. Like, here's some things that he likes. You can do these, and he'll automatically like them. So that was kind of nice of her. But yeah, that still a cringy situation. Super, super cringy. And I think that's the only one that we have here from Tumblr. Yep. Cool. So we'll go ahead and get on WhatsApp real quick. Again, if you want to add me on WhatsApp, my number on there is, you can find a picture of it on any of my social media, one of my most recent posts, or on Instagram. Just hit the description box below, click on my Instagram, and it's one of the first couple photos, so you can add me on there. But yeah, we've got a lot of them here on WhatsApp, so we'll just go through a few. Let's see. I'll start with this one. It says, it was literally my first date ever, and we had decided to go to the movies. I got there and waited for about 10 minutes and asked him where he was. Turns out he was at the wrong movie theater and missed the first 30 minutes of the movie. I wouldn't say that's a horrible date, but I mean, if that's the worst of your dates, I think you're doing all right. But yeah, I've had that happen before where, but this just happened with friends, where we were like, hey, let's go to the movie theaters and meet at, go see this movie. But somehow in translation, we met up at the wrong movie theaters. Like, I was at the right one, but my friend was at the wrong one. So they had to I don't know if they canceled or if they ended up coming to the right one. But yeah, that was that was super random. But yeah, like I said, if that's the worst of your dates, be happy, because some people have gone through like horrible stuff. Let's see, we got another one here that says, worst date. Had a guy take me to a really fancy restaurant, and the whole time the waiter was staring at us. So my date kept making faces and smacking his food, and eventually yelled from across the room. I was so embarrassed. We never went back, and I didn't stick around. Wow. So you just got embarrassed that he would do that in a public setting, kind of like yell at the waiter. I mean, to be fair, that's super rude of the waiter to like be staring at you guys. Like what? Do you want something? Like, what do you keep looking at, over here for? But to like yell from across the restaurant, that's a little excessive. Oh God. Let's see. We have one from here that says, unfortunately you won't be able to catch it tonight, and I've actually never been on a date. Oh man. Again, another case for you, like, definitely try to get out there, ask someone random. If you find someone that you can talk to easily, that you're mutually friends with, go on a date. Just do it. Just go. Let's see. We have one here that says, some people in the live chat are saying I feel secondhand embarrassment. Totally. So we have one here that says, my worst date would probably have to be a few months after my ex of a year broke up with me. The guy I went on a date took an hour finding the pizza place we got food from, and it was horrible, which depressed me because it was pizza. What's wrong with pizza? We went to the closest park, and he told me nothing but depressing things that happened in his life. Then we went to the park closer to my house and ran into my said ex I mentioned before. That upset the hell out of me because he was with someone else and I was far from over him. So on the way to our vehicles, my date didn't comfort me and we parted ways. Then about an hour after I got home, he had the balls to ask nudes from me. By far the worst date ever. Oh my God. What the hell, dude? How some people just don't know, like, just basic human etiquette, like, you don't just ask for nudes like that. Especially if the date was like horrible, or like you guys weren't really feeling each other. Like, how do you just do that? Like, I would never ask for nudes. I would never ask for nudes. If somebody sends them to me, oh, that's fine. Thank you, I guess, and whatever. But like, how can you just like ask for nudes, especially from somebody that you're like if you're not in a relationship, like how do you just do that? And you're not feeling the person or whatever. Like in a relationship, I could understand, like sending whatever to each other. But wow. Let's see. We have one here. I think my worst date was a former high school classmate. We were having lunch. One thing led to another, and we ended up kissing. It was definitely a comment that ruined everything. Between kisses, he said, "You are very much like your father." Huh? It was horrendous. After that, he said he felt like he was with my father and ruined the moment. Sorry for my English, I'm not very good. Greetings. Well, hi, thank you for your message, but what? You're sitting there kissing each other, and then he says, "You remind me of your father." Or I can't help but think of your father right now. Why? Why is that a thing? Why? Oh no, I feel so bad. That's so random. That's so bad. I can't even. That is so cringy. Let's see, we have one here. I met a guy on a dating site years ago and we texted for about 2 months. He seemed really cool until it came time to meet. After weeks of various my friend is borrowing my car excuses, he asked me to pick him up one night because he wanted to hang out. We went to a combination of Denny's and Hooters for a milkshake and went to the park to talk. He seemed pretty normal and had a great sense of humor. I find out later from my own online research he has a felony embezzlement charge and probation violations, and I'm pretty sure he just didn't have a license. He called me a few weeks later to see if I wanted to hang out in an empty room of the hotel he worked the front desk at, and yeah, no thanks. Holy shit, dude. Yeah, you definitely have to be careful with people that you meet online. You never know. You never know. Like, even as much as you think you know about somebody from online interaction, you just never know. And that's why, like, I don't mess around with like online flirting or anything like that with anyone, because it's like, if I can't meet you in person, if we can't do this in person, don't waste my time. Like, it's just not, like I'll get random messages from people, saying, "Oh my God, you're so hot," this and that, and trying to flirt or whatever. But it's like, thanks, I appreciate the compliment, but this isn't going to go anywhere because I just don't do that whole online thing. Because it's like, again, I don't know you. I don't know who you are. I can't possibly know who you are until I actually like meet you in person. Like, it's just not going to happen. And for reasons because of this. Like, no, thank you. We have one here that says, my ex, who is my daughter's father, which just adds to how bad this is, was so desperate to spend time with the woman he was seeing behind my back that he invited her to what he told me was our date night. Wow. I wouldn't find out weeks later from a friend of his that was there and who was so appalled by what he was doing that on the few occasions I got up to use the bathroom or get food, utensils, etc., they were jumping down each other's throats playing tonsil hockey. What? So in the same restaurant, she was like sitting nearby or something, and every time you would get up to go do something, he would like start making out with her? What? Who does that? What I don't understand is, like, when it comes to cheating and stuff, it's like, why would you be with that person? Like, why not just be with the person that you're like doing stuff on the side with? Like, why are you keeping this one person, and being so fucking like, I can't, I have no words for that. Wow. Jeez. I can't even. Let's see. We have one here that says, worst date, where I was at the restaurant waiting for this person. He wasn't full on catfish, but his picture was a little older. He met me. I was like, okay, well, let's see how this turns out anyway. Also, like, when you guys actually met face to face, you were just like, oh, well, let's just see how this turns out. It didn't go very well. He was pushy and insisting we go back to his place. I said goodnight and had the valet get my car. I said take care. So I'm driving home and he followed me apparently because I live in a security gated community, and the gate had called my phone asking, is this guy in the car with you? I said no. That was the end of it. Wow, that's fucking scary, dude. That is so scary. Tyus says, why cheat? Just break up or talk about it. Yeah, exactly. Like, there's no point in cheating. That could be. Have we done an episode on cheating before? I feel like we have. Maybe not. Maybe that could be a future episode. If somebody has like a story about cheating or something like that, or wants me to talk about it, send me a message, and I'll use it for the next episode. Let's see. We've got quite a few more. Let's see. Worst date was pretty awful. I was set up on a blind date. My friend thought her colleague and I would hit it off. I begged her to tell him that I was a larger girl. She assumed that he was okay with it. We go to dinner and he tries to order my meal, strawberry salad. I apologized and said that I couldn't have that as I'm severely allergic. He said, fine, just bring it a salad. I shook it off thinking he meant bring any salad. Lo and behold, the waiter brings strawberry salad. I didn't eat and didn't make a fuss. As the date wraps up, he asks for my half of the check. I declined as I was unable to eat my meal. He said, well, at least fat girls put out. I slapped him so hard. I think his ears still ring to this day. He threw the salad at me. I had a rash for days. He quit my friend's firm a few weeks later. I hope he learned some manners. Wow, that's fucking rude. So fucking rude. Oh my God. We have one here that says, I was a senior in high school and he was a sophomore. We went bowling for our second date. And in the middle of our second game, he turned to me and said, since you are graduating, you won't have to worry about me anymore. Such a strange thing to say. We finished up our game, gave each other a hug, and went our separate ways. And you never heard from him again. Wow, that's random. Let's see. My worst date was when I was 14. I went to my boyfriend's house for a movie night. Long story short, his mom had an episode and ended up chasing the dad around the house with an axe. What? What the hell? She swung at him and stuck the thing into a door frame. Here's Jenny. Needless to say, I was completely traumatized and never talked to any of them again. Another one was on Valentine's in 6th grade. Oh gosh, dates don't count when you're in 6th grade. My boyfriend knew I hated shredded coconut and he gifted me a bag of shredded coconut. Of course, I was like, why did you get me this? And he said, because I don't like you anymore and we're breaking up. Oh. And then he proceeded to take a handful of it and eat it like a cow. Oh my God. Kids are so savage. Oh my God. Here's mommy. That's so crazy. What the hell? Oh God. Let's see. One of the worst dates I've been on would have to be a date I had a while ago where the guy I was talking to kept telling me how much he disliked Hispanics. He supported Trump and he tried to kiss me. I'm not one to judge someone, but I'm Hispanic, so it didn't set a very good tone, and it definitely didn't make me want to see him again. Wow. That's super rude. How could he... Did he not know you were Hispanic? Like, how is somebody so dense that they would do that? Like straight up to your face. Like, I don't like who you are. I don't like what you were born as. Like, what? Who does that? Oh my God. Let's see. My worst date ever was my junior prom date. Oh man. Oh, prom stories, Jesus. I actually didn't meet him until a few weeks before prom. That actually sounds like something similar to mine. My friends had hyped him up and vice versa. We finally met up for dinner among a group of friends. He didn't talk to me the entire time. The day of prom, I had to buy my own flowers. He was hungover from another prom the night before and had a dead flower on his jacket. I paid for his prom ticket. Why would you do that? And for his post-prom ticket, he never danced with me, ended up playing cards with some of his friends the whole night, and completely disappeared before post-prom. He was a jackass. I'll attach a picture just for fun. I'm not gonna show this picture just for Um, wow, wow, this guy. I wish I could show the picture. He's got like a bowl haircut, like like a bowl haircut. Wow, that's all I'm gonna say about that. It's wow. Oh no. Let's see. My worst date had to have been when I met this guy for dinner. For a first date, he was rude to the waitress, wouldn't shut up about his ex, and talked about himself nonstop. I feel like that's like a common thing that people deal with, like on dates. Like why do people do that? And wouldn't let me get a word in edgewise. And when we left the restaurant, he grabbed me and kissed me. Worst kiss ever. It was like he opened his mouth completely wide, tongue all the way down my throat and around my mouth, using. Ugh. Okay, I'm not gonna go into that much detail. I break off as quickly as able, and we head to the second part of the date because obviously I'm a glutton for punishment. To watch him and his buddies play airsoft. When we walk up on his group of 7 or so friends, about 5 or 6 of the players announced to all of them as loud as possible, "Hey guys, this is my girlfriend." I was mortified. To make matters even worse, guy expected a little sexual themed action when the night was over. Oh god. Oh no. And it's like you guys weren't even boyfriend girlfriend. You guys were just going out on a date. That's fucked up. Oh man. Once I traveled 2 hours because I wanted to see a guy. I woke up earlier to make your outfit and get your makeup on. Nobody in your home knew about it, and when you got there, he didn't notice you. He played, I'm guessing that's League of Legends for about 1 hour and barely talked to you. The rest of the day, he just talked. He just talked, and I guess it says, he just talked with no kisses or nothing, or nothing the next morning. When I get home, he texts apologizing about everything. Worst day ever. Wow. So you get yourself ready and everything, and you go hang out with this person. They like completely ignore you. That's fucked up, man. Who are these people? Who are these people? Worst date was actually on Valentine's Day a few years back. My boyfriend stood me up for our date, your boyfriend, and then broke up with me over the phone later that night. I can't say I was too devastated about it. Wow. Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't have been mad about it either because he just saved you the trouble of being in a relationship even further with somebody who, like, I would rather, break up with somebody, like, as soon as like, things aren't going the way that you want them to, or like, things aren't fixable, or, whatever, than have it drag on and be in a shitty relationship with somebody who doesn't even give a fuck about you. Like, just end it, like, end my suffering. Like, don't even bother. And so I would advise anyone that may be feeling like that in that kind of situation, to where their partner isn't feeling them anymore, or like, you guys, there's like clearly things are not working, just end it. Just end your suffering. It's going to suck for a couple weeks, right? As you kind of get over it, but you'll be free again. And you can find someone else that actually gives a shit about you, right? So just end your suffering. Let's see. So this guy was going to take me on my first date, and I was super excited about it. We have been talking for about a week now. So the day before the date, he tells me that I should pick the time and that he'll pick me up. And I did. The day of the date arrives, and I'm bouncing around everywhere. I got all ready, did my makeup, picked out the best outfit. The time when he was supposed to come get me comes, and he's still not there. Cool, maybe he's running a little late. Sounds reasonable. An hour passes by, and I start freaking out. I'm not going to lie, a little heartbroken. But then I think that maybe something came up, but then later in the day, I go on Snapchat, and I see that he's posted something, and he's out and about and having fun. And at this point, I'm furious. My friends were also furious and ready to kick ass since I've been crying all night. So the next day at work, when I saw him, I just pour my heart out and ask him what happened, and he blamed me for the date not happening, saying that I never texted him and that I was the one who flaked on him, and we were arguing at work and all of that great stuff. Both of us almost got fired. Eventually, he felt bad. A week later, we went on a mini date to look for Halloween costumes at Walmart together, and he also bought me food, so I couldn't complain. Oh, that was sweet. At least he tried to make up for it. But yeah, that's random. I mean, no, I would say that I could understand from his point of view that, like, he didn't get a text message from you, so maybe he felt like you had other plans or you were canceling on him. But that's when you take the initiative and text the person. Like, you send that first text, say, hey, I'm getting ready. I'm almost getting ready. Are you ready for our date today? Are we still on for today? Etc., etc., etc. Why would you just not reach out and find out if things are still going? Like, oh no. So that makes me think that that person was just legitimately, like, just didn't give a shit. Or felt that his other plans were a lot more fun than whatever yours were. Wow. So I got one here that says, I wish I had a good story, but I don't. It's just a simple asshole guy who didn't pay when he invites me and was late, tried to kiss me when the connection wasn't there, just utterly uncomfortable. Oof, yeah, that's horrible. Let's see. My friend gave me a phone number of this girl he thought I would be perfect for. They didn't really know each other, but they met at some party before. So I texted her, and it always went well, and she suggested a dinner date at this restaurant. I agreed, and we met the day after. Here's how it started going downhill. When I go to the restaurant, she was just coming out of the restaurant. So I asked her, what's going on? She told me she was just asking them to set us a table. Once we sat down, I asked her if she knows what's good there. She told me, but the way she told me, it seemed like she really knew the menu. I thought she really knew the restaurant, so I told her that she can order for the both of us. She began ordering 8 or 9 dishes, and it started to freak me out a little. I thought, man, this girl has some appetite. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with it, but it was just a bit out of the ordinary. After a lot of eating, we both felt full, so I asked if she would like to split the bill. She assumed that I would pay for it all on the first date. Right before we left the restaurant, I asked her if she would want to go for a movie or something because I thought the date went great. Little did I know, she said she has to get back to work, so I offered to walk her to the bus stop/car. Then she told me the restaurant is where she works and her family runs it. What? What? Then it all made sense to me. She was using me to get more business for the restaurant. We barely finished 3 dishes and she ordered 8. She took all the leftovers too. What a fucking... Oh my god, dude. That's fucked up. No. That's so fucked up. I feel so bad. I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. Holy hell, dude. Oh, wow. Let's see. We have one that says, I had a fight with my boyfriend. I think that my worst date was a guy that I met at a bar. He was trying to force a kiss, and I really hated it. He was disgusting. Anyway, I lie about excuse to get away from that bar. So it's just an uncomfortable situation. Let's see. Got a couple more. My worst date was when I was a sophomore in college. There was a freshman boy who said hi to me every once in a while. One night, he messaged me on Facebook to tell me I was cute. I thanked him, and he proceeded to ask me for my number and out on a date. I didn't know this guy at all, so I told him I was only interested in friendship. I still gave him my number because I didn't mind starting a friendship. First mistake. Within 3 minutes, he texted me asking what I meant by just wanting to be friends. I didn't know that needed explaining. It doesn't need explaining at all. If you say you want to be friends, you just want to be friends. But I told him again that I wasn't looking for a romantic relationship, only friendship. He asked if he could get to know me more, to which I said yes. I agreed to go to our college basketball game to hang out. Second mistake. We met up for the game that Friday, which I'll add was my first ever baseball game. Things were normal at first, but went downhill within an hour. Lots of attempted hand-holding and snuggling, which I repeatedly pushed off with awkward laughter. At one point, he mentioned bringing me home to meet his family. But I reminded him we weren't dating. He laughed and ignored my comment, and I debated whether or not pretending to faint in the bleachers to get out of our friendship outing early was a bad idea. He walked me back to my car after the game, and I ended up driving him back to his car. He asked for a hug goodbye, but then he hugged me and went in for a kiss. I couldn't push him away, so we had about 30 seconds of me flipping around like an angry fish until he kissed me on the cheek. I thought my response and repeated use of nope would have been a good enough clue that I wasn't into it, but he still texted me later to tell me not to be embarrassed and that he'd actually been hoping for a cheek kiss. Ah. Also, he couldn't wait for our next date. I ended up having to call Home Slice to break off a relationship that was never one to begin with. My friends still laugh at me almost 4 years later for being so naive about the whole thing. Lesson learned. But I still don't care for baseball to this day. That's horrible. Oh my god. Like it, if you can't catch a drift, like come on, dude. My date wasn't the cutest thing, but looks don't matter. So I agreed to go out with him to see a horror movie. However, he had way too big of an ego, and on top, he kept talking about how he wanted to date a Romanian girl, so couldn't commit. But the cherry on top was his breath stunk so bad, and he jumped in my lap during a scary scene. Needless to say, I said I was going to the bathroom and stayed on the phone in the lounge till the end of the movie. Never again. You should have just left. Oh my god. That's what it's like. Most of the time, you should probably drive to your date. You know, like make sure you take your car so that if you need to go, you can go. Oh my god. Horrible. Let's see, my worst date or situation, it was the day that my boyfriend and I decided to have a moment alone, and right at the best moment, the bell rings the house and was his brother. Stayed until dinner. I do not know if it's my worst date, but that was rare. Oh, so you just had like your date night kind of interrupted by a family member or something, or someone, you know, it could be anyone. In this situation, it was the brother. And just completely ruined your one-on-one alone time night. That's always sucks when, you know, you have like a unintentional third wheel, you know. And you know, no fault on the brother, of course. Like I'm sure he didn't know, right? But yeah, that was kind of rude to not at least have, you know, your significant other tell his brother like, hey, we're kind of having a thing here. Maybe come back later, or like don't stick around for long. Let's see. That's a really long one. Let's see. My worst date ever was the time when, after being with a guy for a year, he actually we were out celebrating our first anniversary. Then a very hot girl appears. It was an old friend of his, I guess, and then he introduced me to her by calling me just a friend. Ooh. A second later, my drink was dripping all over his face. I hope you had a great weekend. Oh, thank you. I hope you had a great weekend too. Yeah, that's horrible. It's your first anniversary, so you guys have been dating for a year now, and he introduces you as just a friend. Oh my god, so fucking rude, dude. Let's see. That's another super long one too. I went to the movies with a sweet guy. We're friends now. There were no hard feelings after that day. Right in the middle of the movie, his sister, very jealous sister, literally sits right next to him and started talking to him and laughing out loud. Wow, it was so awkward. She wouldn't leave him for the rest of the day, so I had to go. Oh, man. So his sister clearly didn't like you and was just like, nope, I'm going to ruin this date for you guys. My worst date was when he never came. Oh my god. I'm glad you're laughing in the text message too. Oh my god. It's like, yeah, I had a bad date. It was the one that my date never actually came. Oh no. Let's see, we just got a couple more. I went to the movies with this guy I had never met, but we were set up by a mutual friend. I thought it was going fairly well, but then he went to the bathroom. I waited 5 minutes, then a half hour. He left. I had to call my friend to come pick me up. It was so humiliating. Wow, so this is from the other end of the story. After that, I tried to call him to know what happened. He told me that I'm not his type. He wants a model type, good profession, very fair skin. Wow, that's fucked up. I mean, it's fucked up in the sense that, like, he left you. Like, it, you know, everybody can have their preferences. If that's what his preferences were, by all means. But, like, don't just fucking, like, leave you like that. You know, enjoy the rest of the date. What the fuck? And again, just because you go out on a date doesn't mean anything has to transpire further from that. You know, if the person's not your type, you don't have to go on any more dates with that person. Like, just because you go on a date doesn't mean that, like, you're in a relationship now. It does not mean that at all. Oh my god. The ridiculous part is that he told me his mom will never like me, and then ask then I asked him why he agreed to meet me in the first place. And then he said he didn't want to, and just being nice to his friend. Oh, because again, a friend set you up. Wow. Oh yeah, and then you say, that time my self-esteem was too low to date. I just want to make my friend, or you just want to make friends and not marry him on the first date. Yeah, no, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. Let's see. I got stood up for 5 hours. Does that count? Yeah. Stood up for 5 hours in the cold. Yeah, and he never came back. That's horrible. I went to the movies with the guy, and during the middle of the movie, he decided to lick my arm. Let's just say we didn't have a second date. He kept doing it too. Oh God, what the fuck? I have one. There was this one guy at my painting class that I found attractive. It took him a whole year to ask me out. And the day after we dated, he called me 11 times in 10 minutes. And the day after, he called 56 times. What the fuck? I blocked him everywhere. I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. Oh, God. And so the story that we talked about before with the girl from prom, where, she paid for everything for prom, and where I mentioned that I couldn't show the picture, she just let me know that I could show the picture. So I'm going to try to show this. This is them. That's the guy. That is the guy right there. See what I meant by the bowl cut? Oh God. Oh no. Wow. Absolutely wow. I can't even deal with that right now. But yeah, so that is the majority of the stories that we got today. If you guys do still want to send in your stories so that we can have a laugh about it, definitely still do. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. This was definitely an interesting one. I loved hearing all of your stories. I hope you guys that were here in the live chat, just listening along, enjoyed that as well, and enjoyed talking about the different stories. Wow. And again, if you are watching this after the fact, definitely thank you for watching, and then leave a comment down below with perhaps your one of your worst date stories as well, so that I can read that later. That would be freaking amazing. But yeah, that's gonna be that for tonight, guys. I really hope you enjoyed. As always, please check out the description box below for links to all of my amazing stuff. Again, check out my Patreon. I've got one of the perks on Patreon is that I put up 4 unique special videos every month, 4 extra videos that are just Patreon only. And the 2 of them that are up right now for this month are just fantastic. And I wish everyone could see them. But yeah, no, I have a bunch of amazing other perks on Patreon as well. That's something that I've been really trying to pick up and grow. One of the really lower tiered perks is that you get to watch videos before anyone else. So as I upload videos for the next couple of weeks to come, you guys get to see those before anyone else. So definitely check that out, because it helps me definitely help you as well. And yeah, just check out everything else, my social media. Come hang out with me on Twitch whenever we do Twitch streams. Again, my online schedule is down below, so you'll know when we actually stream. And yeah, just I hope you guys have an amazing, amazing week ahead of you. I've got a lot of work to do this upcoming week. So I'm looking forward to getting into that. Lots of cool new content and stuff like that coming in the future. If you guys are doing anything special for Valentine's Day, I wish you a special Valentine's Day. And if you're not, I still wish you to have a happy day. Regardless, enjoy just being with yourself if you don't have a date or anyone else, because it's also important to love yourself. It really, really, really is. So yeah, have a great week, guys. I will talk to you soon, and I will see you guys in the next video. So as always, I love you. I hope you take care. And as always, keep dreaming. Bye, guys.